It's great to be here at the disco. Let me tell you what happened to me the other day. At the Piggly, standing in line, feeling nervous, waiting my time. Then a large can fell from my coat, so I shouted before they took note. Who threw that ham at me? Who threw that ham at me? Hey, please, did anyone see? Who threw that ham at me?
I want to go home now, you idiots.
Okay, disco garbage can. Yeah, flip your lid. Disco garbage can. Flip your lid. Yeah, get down. Alright. Twirl. Everyone twirl. So I turned and walked away. Like later on I would go and pay. Then it happened when I stopped. A frozen bird fell with a plop.
My family is waiting for me.
A frozen bird fell with a flop. Who flung this turkey at me? Who flung this turkey at me? What's going on? Didn't you see? Someone threw a turkey at me. Yeah, disco garbage can, everybody. Yeah, flip your lid. Disco garbage can. Yeah, do the disco garbage can. Who threw that ham at me? Who threw that ham at me? Hey, didn't anybody see? Who threw that ham at me? Who threw that ham at me? Disco garbage can, everybody. Yeah, get down. Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, go for it, baby. Yeah, that's really great. Well, everybody, I've made my scene here at the disco tonight, so I'm going on to the next disco. Hopefully, I'll see you there.
Okay, guys, I'm not sure if the feed dropped or not. I'm not quite sure. I'm looking at it on my screen. It looks like it dropped, and suddenly the amount of viewers dropped as well. So I'm guessing either we're live or I'm guessing we're not live. And if I'm guessing we're not live, I'm probably thinking that how dare Dave Darin put up the letter CV for a coronavirus. We're not allowed, I don't know if you knew this or not, but as podcasters, we are not allowed to call this. Okay, so now it looks like you guys see me. We're not allowed to call this coronavirus anymore. We're not allowed to do that as podcasters because YouTube and Facebook thinks that when we talk about this topic that we're putting out fake bullshit news. And by the way, you know what? Podcasters don't have to be specifically accurate to everything we say. We come out here, we commentate, we discuss things, we bring topics to you. It's your decision to judge them as accurate, inaccurate, false, true. It's up to you guys to make that interpretation, right? It's not really up to Facebook or YouTube to make that determination for you as to what's accurate or what's inaccurate. You know, you can post, you know, the name of that song, by the way, is Who Threw a Ham at Me? I'm sick and tired of people throwing bullshit at me, all right? So let's see. Jeff says he has questions. So how are you, a podcaster? Because I do shows like this. You know, I'm not on terrestrial radio. I started off being on terrestrial radio, where you would go down the road, driving down the road, and you would hear an obnoxious, fucked up guy like me driving down the road, and it's going to make you stop. It's going to make you take your high heel shoes, if you're a girl or a guy that's transgender has high heel shoes on, and kick the radio because they hear my voice on the radio. So I'm not a terrestrial radio guy anymore. Actually, I was on 4 stations because I don't feel like taming down the bullshit. I feel like talking about whatever I talk about. So I can't do a show on terrestrial radio. I can't do a show where anyone is worried about sponsors because I am a rude guy, and so I am a podcaster. I put together a podcast show, or YouTube. I guess you'd call me a YouTuber if you want to call me a YouTuber. Since the show remains on YouTube for it to be replayed after it's done live, that is sort of a podcast, all right? So get used to it. If you want to pick apart what I call this show, then pick it apart or do your own show and figure out what the lingo is, all right? So tonight we're going to talk about the coronavirus, COVID-19, CV, whatever you want to call us, all right? CV, you know, I blocked someone, and Jeff is asking, who's the next person to be blocked? I blocked someone because they had CV. They were a constant vagina, complaining about what I talk about and statistics, and saying, how could I not care about the people that have died of coronavirus? How could I not care about them, or pick up a roll of toilet tissue and cry for them? How could I not be more sentimental, more caring, more loving of people that have died that have coronavirus? You know what? Have you guys analyzed these statistics as of today? And I'll pull it up here. I will pull it up for you, and I'll drag it over, all right? I'll drag it over if I can do that. Here we go. Yes, I can. As of today, let me scroll down a bit. As of today, May 10th, you see it dated today, May 10th, COVIDtracking.com. As of today, can you see it? Is it on the screen? Today, 74,270 people in the United States have died. As of today, all right? Now, I don't know when they stop this. It's 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. That's 10 o'clock. I don't know if they're going to calculate up until midnight Pacific time or midnight East Coast time, but it's close enough, right? 74,270. Let's do the math. By the way, let me pull something up here. Let me pull up the current population of the United States, all right? And I happen to know what it is, but let me pull it up. Current U.S. population, all right? And let's do some mathematics here, all right? Current U.S. population, 328.2 million people as of 2019. It's because that fucking census hasn't completed yet, and they keep bugging me to fill out the census so they can account for me. I don't want to be accounted for. You have my IRS, all the tax stuff. You have all my details, all my data is available for you guys to pick it out. Unknown caller means it's a heckler. Let's get a heckler on. Dave Darin on the Dave Darin Show. You're an unknown caller. Usually I don't take unknown callers, but I'm taking your ass. What's going on? Okay, he hung up because he knew he was a heckler and he knew I was going to heckle him back, all right? Tonight is Sunday night. We can have hecklers tonight, all right? I can have hecklers any night because I can kick the crap out of hecklers. So I'll accept hecklers tonight, all right? I will accept hecklers tonight. So let's get to the statistics if you guys can still see me. He is dragging up baby. What does that mean? Miranda writes. I'm reading some of the chat here. From 4:01 p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. the next day is one count. I'm not going to get into that statistics when I'm ready to do math for you guys, all right? Let's take this. Now, do you guys happen to remember mathematics at all? Now, I'm going to put the little thing up on the side here, okay? So you can see it. There it goes. You should be able to see it. Let me clear. Okay, so now, I just said, let's round it to 320 million people. That is, put the comma here. Wrong one. How come it doesn't look like a comma? I thought you could put a comma in this. All right, I guess you can't. there is, let's see, do I have the right amount of zeros? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 320. So there is 328 million. That's the total U.S. population, okay? Now, if you remember your percentages, if you're at 100%, then you are at this figure. If you're at 10%, 10% is 0.1, all right? That is 10%. Whoops. Well, you can see I don't know how to use this electronic calculator, and if I hit this, let's go to, I think I can back, yeah, I can, okay. Times 0.1, that's 10%, equals, now you notice 1 0 has dropped off, right? So if you count the zeros back, 1, 2, 3, you would put a comma there. 1, 2, 3, you would put a comma there. At 10% of the U.S. population, we are at 32 million, all right? That's 10% of 320 million. Let's take another, let's multiply that again by times 0.1, all right? And now we have 3.2 million, all right? Now that is at, so here, if you're following my mathematics and my use of this calculator, we have now taken 1% or 10%, and now we've taken another 10% of that, so now we are at 0.01%. All right, bottom line is, instead of me going through all of this, let me clear this and put up 320 million, that's 6 zeros after the 320. And now if we're going to take 0.025%, if you remember your 0.025%, you have to precede it by a couple zeros in the beginning. So times 0.00025. That is 0.025% of the total U.S. population equals what number? It equals 80,000 people. So in other words, I'll do it again so you guys can see it. There's no magic here at all. 320 million, that's 6 zeros, times 0.00025, which is 0.025%, equals 80,000. So 0.025% of the total U.S. population has coronavirus. That is an incredibly small amount of people that have the coronavirus, have died of coronavirus. Now we take that small 0.025% of the total U.S. population, that tiny sliver, and then we analyze those small percentage, that 80,000 people that have died of COVID-19. First of all, most of those statistics are people that are either immune compromised or people with pre-existing conditions, or both, or multiple pre-existing conditions. And by the way, when you have a pre-existing condition and you have COVID-19 along with that pre-existing condition, what happens if you didn't have that pre-existing condition? Would you have survived the coronavirus alone? Odds are, and statistics are, that you would have survived. That's the percentage, the overwhelming percentage, especially if you consider the entire population of the United States of 320 million people. Only 0.025% of the population, which is 80,000 people, and not even 80,000 people. We saw 74,000 some odd people have died. That's such a small percent. A small fraction of the population has died of COVID-19. Yet, what do we do? What do we do? We shut down the whole country, and we now have 20 million people on unemployment. And that was, I believe, as of 3 weeks ago. I don't know what it is now. Now it's probably 30 million people, I'm assuming. I haven't heard the unemployment statistics as of today's current May 10th date. I think what I heard was the April counts, the end of April, which was 10 days ago. The end of April, I believe, we had 20 million people on unemployment. Now, what do we have now? We probably have at least 25 million, 26 million people on unemployment. So for the 80,000, actually for the 74,000 people that have died of COVID-19 out of a total population of 0.025% of the U.S. population have died of it, yet we decide to, okay, so we'll just shut down the country and disenfranchise and put 20 million people plus on unemployment. We affect their lives critically, where they can't go to work. They probably are on unemployment. They're probably on unemployment plus the social media platform of $600 a week to keep them somewhat afloat. So we've already leaned them into socialized programs, into a liberal country. That's what we have done. Do you guys realize that small percent? I'll pull it up again so you guys can see that I'm not doing it. I'm not Siegfried and Roy here. By the way, Roy actually died a few days ago from Siegfried and Roy. I'm going to put up my calculator again so you see that there's no Siegfried and Roy magic here. I'm not making lions disappear with this mathematics. 320. Now I'll add 1 0, so I'm clear for you guys. That would be 3,200. Another 0 is 32,000. Another 0 is 320,000. Another 0 is 3.2 million. Another 0. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we've got 32 million. One more 0. Now we have the total U.S. population. All right, right here. If there is a percent on this calculator, by the way. If I take the actual percent, what did I say it was? 0.025%. Just to show you, 0.025%. Oh, look at that! I did it again. I guess you gotta hit the percent first. I have never used this online calculator, and now I can't hit the delete here. I gotta hit the whole thing off again. All clear. 320, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 320 million. And what do I do? Hit the percent first. Percent 0.025 equals? No, see that? I don't know how to use that calculator. I'm better with hand-drawn calculations than I am with using this stupid calculator. How do you do that? I look like an idiot because I don't know how to use a calculator, but I seem more intelligent because I know how to do the math in my head or do it long ways instead of using a stupid fucking calculator. There's 320 million times 0.0025. Did I miss 1 0? I sure did. Damn it. Equals 80,000 people. So you see that is the percent of the population. That small, tiny 0.00025. Can you believe how small that percentage of the U.S. population is? And now I have people saying, Dave, you're so uncaring about that small percent of the population. Do in your head, if you can think about that large number, that large figure. So 320 million people. 320 million people. The population of just Arizona is 5 million people in Arizona. 5 million people live here in Arizona. 320 million people live in the United States. Out of that huge amount of people, 80,000 people have died of COVID-19. And out of those amount of people that have died of COVID-19, the overwhelming percentage of that small percentage have died of COVID-19 because they've got immune compromises or they have pre-existing conditions or both or multiple pre-existing conditions. So that figure of that small sliver, most of those small, tiny sliver of population have had a reason why they died of COVID-19. And not alone of COVID-19, alone with a pre-existing condition or an immune system compromise. If they didn't have an immune system compromise or they didn't have a pre-existing condition, the majority of those people would have survived just the isolated COVID-19. So can you imagine the people that have went in the hospital and are on respirators? If they didn't have a pre-existing condition or immune compromised system, they most likely, via the statistics, would not have even been in the hospital, and they definitely wouldn't have been on a respirator because their immune system would have taken over and accurately defended their body. Now we're keeping everyone isolated so that their immune systems are weakened, so when they do go on a respirator, because their immune system is now weakened and not functioning properly, then they're in dire need, dire straits, and then they're going to suffer and potentially die. Because not only did they have a pre-existing condition, but they've got a fucked up immune system. So that's why they're dying. You know, I'm sick and tired of the bullshit that we hear. I'm really sick of it. When, again, you see that 320 million people live in the United States and 74,000 people have died. Do I not care about the 74,000 people? If you take statistics of, and you hear this all the time, you hear statistics of the flu. By the way, if you had the flu, and I don't know what the percentage of the population is that died of the flu, but if you take percentages of the flu, or if you take percentages of the total U.S. population that died in a car accident or had asthma, it's a small population as well based upon the huge population in the entire country. So what, you guys want to debate me on this? And we have people that are complaining about, Dave doesn't give a fuck about the 74,000 people that have died. You know what? If they didn't have COVID-19 and they just had a flu and they have pre-existing conditions and immune compromised system and they get the flu or asthma, it's a pretty decent chance that they would also die of that as well. And you're taking people, I had people say, Dave, you don't care about these elderly people. You know what? Older people, you are actually insulting them by telling them they can't take care of themselves. What we got to do is have everyone else take care of them and have the government take care of them, when in all reality, they are mature individuals who have a brain in their head. They don't need you or the government to tell them how to protect themselves. They're pretty well cognizant and they have an ability to take care of themselves without being babysat by you people. That's what I got to say about that. They don't need your help. My parents are 80 and 87. They're actually embarrassed that you guys are so worried about them instead of going back to work. You know what? You're taking those people that are of senior age, immune compromised, and with pre-existing conditions. You are telling them to protect you. You know what we're going to do? We're going to damage your children and your grandchildren and potentially your great-grandchildren's financial stability and their economics to protect the small sliver of population, which is you. That's what you're doing. You're taking that small number of people that may include my father and my mother, and it definitely does. You're taking them and you're saying, you know what, you guys are not intelligent enough to figure this out, where you need to be on your own guard and you have to have your own safety. You need to use your brain to realize how I can keep myself safe during this COVID-19. You're so scared out of your minds that what you're doing is you're taking their children, their children's children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren, saying, you know what, to protect us, mom and dad at 80 and 87, you know what we're going to do? We're going to wreck my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren's financial stability and their economics by shutting down the entire country and blowing their stability, creating bankruptcies, creating a lower immune system by not going out or wearing a mask or isolating. You're damaging their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren by making them stay isolated and stuck at home, where they're being bombarded by social fucked up media and media in general, and every commercial that runs during the slabs of media you guys watch on TV. You are damaging these people irreparably. I'm not even sure that we'll actually recover from this. And if we do, how many years is it going to take to recover from this? How many years? This is like a domino effect. How many years is it going to take to repair the damage that has been sown right now? How many years? How many decades is it going to take to recover from this? Like I said, to protect the small sliver of 0.025 population, we have taken that 80,000 people, that sliver of the U.S. population, set them aside, focused upon them, and destroyed their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren's livelihood, their economics, and their financial stability by overprotecting the people that are very capable of taking care of themselves, and you have insulted them to think that they don't have the mental capabilities to take care of themselves. You have insulted them. You have damaged their self-confidence. You've weakened those individuals by telling them that they can't think for themselves. They got to be breastfed and they got to be taken care of because they don't have the means to take care of themselves. They're pretty smart people. These folks are pretty smart people because they have not been dumbed down by liberal education. And liberal education tells you that you have to have a support system behind you. You have to win an award. You're running a race. You come in 12th. You know what? There's an award for you. Here's your award for coming in 24th. The only person that won that race is the person that won the race. Everyone else, second place is a loser. He's the first person that lost the race. He's the first loser. How do you strengthen that second place to become a winner in that next race that he participates in? And beating the guy that won the legitimate trophy of first place. How do you make that guy stronger, more competitive, more in shape, more of a producer? How do you make him do that? You don't give him an award. You give him the enthusiasm and the will and the desire to do better at the next race. That's how you create a winner. When you are liberally educated and you tell people in that education process that even though they came in 24th, they get an award. They don't deserve an award. What they deserve is your honesty to teach them that they're in 24th place. All right, you're in 24th place. Don't cry about it. Get in the gym or do whatever you have to do, no matter if it's an athletic event. Start busting your ass so next time you're 20th place. You moved up 4. Next time you come to the games, you're in 16th place. Still don't get an award, but you went from 24th to 16th. You know what? You're gaining ground. You are producing results. You start dumbing down people with this liberal education bullshit where everyone wins something, and you create a bunch of losers. That's what you create. So when you create a bunch of losers in a liberal America where you're telling them that everyone needs to be protected by government, what you're doing is creating an entire population of losers who don't think for themselves. They don't have their own capabilities in their minds to do better. They don't have to progress. They can stay where they are because they're rewarded for being in 24th place. They don't have any drive or ambition to improve upon where they are now. So you take the percentage of the population of mature adults who are older than 60 in that risk of statistics, who are immune compromised and who are pre-existing condition. You tell them, guys, you can't take care of yourselves. You cannot. This is liberal America. We got to take care of yourselves. We got to take care of you for you. We got to put laws into place, have government programs to protect you. And you know what they're saying? They're saying, I don't need your help. I am perfectly capable of knowing what I've got to do in my life. And they may very well decide, okay, well, I see the risk. When I go out shopping, you know what? I'm going to wear a mask. They can make the decision on their own. Do I need a mask? Do I not need a mask? They can make that decision. Do I go to the grocery store every day, or do I go there once a week, get what I need once a week to limit the amount of times I go to the grocery store? Or do I order online and I just go to order and pick up outside? Or do I have food delivered to my house? Or do I have a neighbor or a relative shop for me? I send them a list via email. They drop it off at my doorstep. I open up the door with my mask on if I choose to and get the food from my doorstep, bring it in, I've got food for the week. They are mature enough to figure out what risks they want to take, what risks they don't want to take, without you babysitting their asses because you're liberals and you think everyone needs to be taken care of by liberals, because these mature Americans who still have their brain capabilities are still pretty with it, are pretty smart. In fact, they're smarter than the earlier generations, or the later generations, because the later generations are told that they can't take care of themselves. They need all these social programs. They need socialized medicine, socialized health care. They need everything provided for them so that they don't have to earn it. They believe that they are entitled to it. You're not entitled to shit. You earn shit. You're not entitled to it at all. You're not entitled to the benefits. You earn the benefits after working hard to accumulate what you have earned, not what you're entitled to. This has nothing. The United States should have nothing to do with entitlement. It's all what you earn. It's not what you're entitled to at all. So you have all these people that you've disenfranchised, have given them no respect for their abilities that they've still got in their minds. You have those dumbed them down. Like you want them to be as dumb as you guys are. That's basically what we're talking about. We're talking about taking the mature population that are still with their cognizant abilities. You're taking them and you're saying, you know what, guys, this is 2020. You guys cannot be smart enough. You don't have any intelligence behind you. We want to make you as stupid as we are, and we're going to take care of you because we're going to lump you into the stupidity that we are in right now. And you're just telling them that they don't have the wits about them to be able to make their own decisions of what their desired path is to keep themselves safe. This is like, you go to a movie theater. You think people that are immune compromised and you think that they have pre-existing conditions, you think they're going to go to a movie with 200 people seeing Star Wars, with 200 people in the movie theater, during this flu season? You think they're going to go there? Do you think that the logical thinking, smart person who's got their mental facilities still in their heads, and a lot of them do, the overwhelming amount of them still do. I mean, my father's 87. I could talk to him. I tell my wife that he's got reverse Alzheimer's. That's how bright he is. He's got reverse Alzheimer's. Doesn't forget shit, this guy. He's a pain in the ass, in fact. And I think him being a pain in the ass is keep them sane and keep them rational and keep them thinking. He's got reverse Alzheimer's. This is what he's not going to go to. He had a couple stents placed in his heart, I think like 10 years ago. So he is pre-existing condition. You think he's going to go to the movie theater during flu season and take a risk? Or do you think he's going to go there maybe and wear a mask? Or do you think is he going to go there just to make sure everyone protects his ass? You think he's going to go there and before the movie he's going to go to the movie theater's website and buy an ad and say, guys, I'm in row 5, seat 20 with my wife next to me who's in seat 21, and we're here with some of our neighbors and they're in the next 2 seats. And the next 2 seats, we're occupying 6 seats in this movie theater. We all have pre-existing conditions. You think he's going to buy an ad so that you see it before the movie runs and saying, people in the movie theater in Harkins, please go to the candy booth and there are masks for sale. We are 6 people. We're immune compromised. We have pre-existing conditions. It's flu season. Please buy a mask. They're $2 at the candy stand. I want to see everyone wearing a mask because we're in the movie theater here. And we want you to protect us. No, what they're going to do is they're going to protect themselves by making a logical determination on, first of all, do they go to the movie? Do they not go to the movie? Do they go to the movie and wear a mask? Do they not wear a mask and take the risk? Do we need to educate people who are fully educated and fully capable of taking care of themselves? You take the movie theater and then we're blowing the movie theater up into the entire country population, where we're taking the 0.025% of those people sitting in the movie theater, we're taking that and we're extending it to the entire country, and we're saying to protect that 0.025% of the population, we have to take 320 million people and destroy the economy so that 20 million people as of last month are now unemployed and damaged. We are taking those senior citizens, grandchildren, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and saying, you know what, to protect us, we're it's almost saying that they have to be selfish. And they have to say, you know what, to protect us at the age of 87, we got to protect Dave, our child. Now, I don't have any children. We don't have any children. But if we did, then we'd have to say, because if I had children, they could possibly be of the age to have children. So my parents would be selfish if they decided to, you know what, have everyone in the entire 320 million population protect them by disenfranchising me, my children, and my children's children. That's child, grandchild, great-grandchild. So they are of the total opinion that them, the senior citizens at the age of 80, are the most important people in the world. And my parents don't think that way. And most adult people that are in these risk categories do not want to take their risk and assign their risk to 320 million people to damage their well-being, their financial stability, their economy, their economics. You've destroyed them. What right did they have to do that? And they don't even want the right. They want everyone to go back to work. My parents want everyone to go back to work because my parents are smart enough to take care of themselves. They're smart enough to think, okay, if I want to go, my father, he's the one that goes shopping. My mom stays home. He's the one that takes the risk. He wears a mask. He goes shopping once a week. I think he said tries to go once every 2 weeks. So he's taking precautions, wearing a mask, staying isolated more than 6 feet away from people. And he's going there on the off hours when senior citizens go shopping, by the way. So that's what he's taking, all these extra precautions. He doesn't need anyone else to take precautions on his behalf. He's a mature thinker. He's still got his mind. He comes home with the groceries. My mom's there, and they're living well. They're living really well. They're surviving. They don't feel panicked. They don't feel a risk because they're taking control of their own lives. They don't need me to take control of their lives. They don't need my child, if I had a child, to control them and worry about them. Now, if I lived close enough to them, I would probably, if they wanted to, I would go shopping and I would drop the food off at their doorstep because I would assume my parents would make the logical decision that they don't know if I'm as protected as they are, or I'm as safe as they are, or I'm as virus-free as they are. So I'm going to drop off the package at their doorstep. They're going to come, they're going to pick up the package, maybe wearing gloves if they decide to take that extra precaution, maybe even taking the bag and maybe making sure it's sterile. And they'll take the precautions that they need as mature thinking individuals to need to take without me having to worry about, oh my God, I'm not going to go there. Oh my God, if I had a child, we're going to make sure that we have to protect them. They're capable of doing this on their own. Why do you think that the population that you're trying to save is dumbed down, stupid, or incapable? You're insulting them. Basically, that's what you're doing. You're insulting them and you are damaging their relatives. You are damaging their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren by making sure that everyone else considers them incapable of intelligent thought, intelligent decision. That's what you're doing. You're making them feel like idiots, and you're making sure that they are treated like idiots. You're making sure that they're treated like fools and incapable of individuals who are very capable. You've disenfranchised them. You've disrespected them. You have disrespected them as mature Americans. You have disrespected them. What do you guys think? Anyone have anything to say here? Anyone to call? Because I'm going to hang up pretty soon. I just want to say that. I want to do those statistics for you guys to show you what small sliver of the population you're talking about who have died of COVID-19. I'll put up the calculator again. I'll do that. Calculator. Here we go. And it magically appeared right in the right spot. If you take 320, 123, 123, that's 320 million times 0.00025, which is 0.025%. When you have a percent after all of the right side decimals, when you put a little percent there, you move the decimal over 2 places, all right? That's why 100% is actually 1.0. 10% is actually 0.10. All right, that's the way you do it. You slide a decimal place when there's no percent to the right by 2, or if there's a percent here, then you leave it as 0.025. If you multiply this out, it equals 80,000 people. 0.025% of the U.S. population has died of COVID-19. And we're not even sure how many of those people have had pre-existing conditions or immune system deficiencies. The majority of them have had that. If the people went into the hospital and they only had COVID-19 and no pre-existing condition and no weakened immune system, so a very good probability that first of all, they wouldn't have gone into the hospital, and secondly, they would not be on respirators because their immune system, as long as it's as strong as it should be, is going to fend off this COVID-19. So when you look at the statistics, the statistics are not accurate, where the 80,000 people are actually 80,000. They're not 80,000 healthy people who only had COVID-19 and nothing else. It's not 80,000 people. It is not 80,000 healthy people, 80,000 people with no pre-existing condition, 80,000 people with no immune compromised situations. That is not the statistic we're looking at 80,000. We are looking at the majority of these people having a situation that risked their lives, and these are the people that have passed away and died. A very small percentage of the total 320 million total U.S. population, and we are disrespecting them by telling senior citizens and people with immune system compromise let's take a phone call here. It's Dave Darin on the Dave Darin Show. What is going on?
Hi, Dave. I hope you get COVID-19, you fucking stupid.
You do. You hope so. So why hang up? Why not have a conversation with me? Idiots. You know what?
Yeah,
if you're going,
piece of shit.
okay.
Dude.
So hang on. How about?
Shit.
I'm a piece of shit. Now, why would you say? Why would you say? Would you like to listen to me and have a conversation, or would you like to just hang up? What would you like to do? What would you like to?
Bitch, dude.
You want to have a conversation with me, or do you want to hang up? What would you like to do?
Sure. Here's the conversation.
All right. So what percent did you do?
You're a fucking lemming, dude.
Did you do your mathematics that I showed you? Did you do? At what percentage of the population do you think died? What percentage?
I
Didn't I show
know
you?
people who have died.
You know people have died. Now, how did they die? What did they have? Did they have an immune compromise?
You know anyone who's died yet, Dave?
What's that?
I'm sure if you knew someone who died, you'd have a completely different mentality towards this, wouldn't you?
That
little percentage wouldn't seem like so much if it was actually.
I'll tell you what. If my father or my mother died, who I said was 80 and 87, if they died of COVID-19, having the pre-existing conditions that they got, and they did not take the responsibility on their own to protect themselves, having
dude, it's
known.
not just old people, dude.
What?
It's not just old people. There's like young, physically fit, like 25-year-old people fucking dying.
Okay, now and what percent? What percentage? What did you do a percentage pop calculation of how many percentage of people that are age 20 died of COVID-19? How many? How many? What's the percentage? If I'm giving you the total population of 320 million people and 80,000, less than 80,000 people died, and it's 0.025% of the population.
Dude,
What percentage? What percentage of the population of 20 years old have died?
Like
Answer my question. Answer my question. Tonight is mathematics night. Give me the percentage of the population of the total U.S. population of 320 million people were age 20 that died of COVID-19. Give me that. What's the percentage? Give me it. Do the math, or call me back when you run the math.
You tell me.
No, you tell me. You called up.
I've got a percentage for you. You can figure out on your little calculator.
Okay, what's the percentage? Okay.
What percentage of Dave Darin cares about his fellow man?
Well, I don't care about you at all.
0%?
What?
Yeah, because you're a selfish fuck, dude.
You think so?
You have no consideration towards your fucking race.
No. Tell me this.
You're bullheaded shit.
We have taken the mature individuals. We are taking those people and calling them
Here's
idiots.
the thing about you, Dave. I've seen you whine and bitch and complain about people complaining about the president. But you can sit here and say that you're like anti-government, you don't want to wear a mask. But like, you're a fucking liar, dude. You're just a big baby. Like, I don't fucking understand. You're like, dude, if you could do anything that could help save people, why not just do it?
Why do we disenfranchise them and call them idiots? That's what we're doing. We're calling them idiots. We're disrespecting the people who have the ability and the capability of taking care of themselves by dumbing them down to your. We are dumbing them down to your level. We're dumbing them down to your level, and we're calling them idiots who are incapable of taking themselves. And we are taking their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren and destroying their lives because. Why? Now, if those people wanted it to be done, if the senior citizens, and if my mother and father at 80 and 87 years old wanted the entire population to bend over and support them, they would be the people that were douchebags because they wanted.
What if your mom wanted to go to the grocery store and pick up a gallon of milk, and the reason she died is because some stupid fuck who thinks he's going against some sort of outside governmental force by not wearing his mask got her sick. Now your mom's fucking dead. And she died in a horrible way, literally drowning in her own fucking fluids because some cocksucker couldn't wear a mask. What you're saying is fuck this. It's a small percentage, so why should I conform?
No,
totally the most bullheaded, dumb thing you can think of.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that why would my parents, who are intelligent people, take that risk when there's an ability for them to figure out the logical way of approaching this, rather than everyone else having to try to take the logical interpretation of it on their own.
Dave.
Do you think my parents?
You're a boomer cock.
So you might as well just continue to insult me, right? Why not just do that? Because you don't want to have a logical debate here. Why not just insult me, right?
Well, the thing is there's no convincing you, Dave. Even if I sat here and listed off all of the facts for my point, you'd get frustrated and block me.
Okay,
or something.
You know what I'm going to do?
That's the way the Dave Darin show works.
You know what?
You can't take criticism and you can't see other people's ways because you're so stuck in your own. You'd rather be controversial in your own mind, and it just makes you look like a stupid asshole. That's why no one likes you.
I don't care.
Like two fucking 50-some-year-old ladies. You got like Sparky and Terry, and everyone else thinks you're a giant douchebag.
And that's fine. I don't do this show. I do not do this show to win your approval. I do not do this show to have anyone's approval given to me.
Cool, man. Now you're just a douchebag.
I don't really care who likes me, who dislikes me. I come on here and I give you my opinion. You can do your own show and give out your opinion if you want to. And people would probably love you.
The Dave Darin's a douchebag show.
You do that.
It tonight.
Do that. You should do a follow-up on my show. I think someone said they want to do a follow-up after my show. Why don't you do it?
Until you get COVID.
You will probably you would probably have a larger audience than me because you just want to do a dumbed down show where you just decide that, you know what, we better protect these 0.025% of the population because
That's
you know
right,
what?
because the human life is worth protecting no matter how low the percentage.
And you don't think
if
that, and
you can do anything to stop anything, you just do it.
You don't think that they're capable of taking care of themselves at all. You just think that they're total idiots, total morons, and they don't have any ability to take care of themselves and make mature decisions.
You do what you can do to make things better. Have you seen the
But you're not making things better.
Started wearing masks?
You are not making things better. You are destroying people's lives by keeping the country shut down, and you are damaging those people you're trying to protect. You are damaging their relatives, their young relatives who are younger than them, who need to work.
The only countries that have successfully pulled this off without shutting their governments down, without shutting their businesses down, are countries where the people immediately complied, started wearing gloves, started wearing masks, kept 6 feet. They were able to do that, and they were able to eliminate large portions of this outbreak.
Okay, so
but the problem is even if we tried that here, there'd be Dave Darins out there that would say, "Oh, I don't need to wear a mask. I'm physically fit. I'm safe." Yeah, total fucking idiot.
So you in other words, you think that my parents are 80 and 87 years old, do not have the mental capability to go shop.
Fuck, and you don't know how
you know what? I'm sick and tired of hearing. Sick and tired of hearing stupid fuck and all that stuff. I'm sick and tired of hearing that. If you want to call up and have a conversation where you give me some facts, some description of what you're talking about, rather than saying stupid fuck, douchebag, and all that, then you know what? Then call back and shut the fuck up with that language, all right? I'll use the words now. Shut the fuck up with that language and have a decent conversation with me, all right? Instead of that, I don't want to hear that constantly every 2 sentences. My point is, the people that are compromised, immune system compromised, or pre-existing conditions, you are telling me that those people need to be protected when they are perfectly capable, perfectly logical of knowing how to take care of themselves. Unknown caller, which I should not take unknown callers, and I wasn't going to do that because usually they're hecklers and too chicken to give out their phone numbers. But let's take it. Unknown caller, who are you and why are you using an unknown number? Why not call up with your real number? Why be so chicken?
Because you dox people, and I don't wish any will upon you like the previous caller did. But I must say that for somebody that claims to be a shock jock, you are probably one of the most easily triggered snowflakes I've ever seen in my entire life.
Why?
Like, it's laughable.
Okay. So why? Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Because you love to insult others, but the second anybody even begins to insult you, you cry and throw a fit and bitch from your spare bedroom.
Oh,
I mean, you're constantly bragging about the size of your penis and how you satisfy your life.
Oh, I'm not constantly. Did I do that tonight? Did I do that tonight?
In my experience, guys that brag about that are making up for stuff they don't have.
And when did you said I constantly do it? Did I talk about my penis at all tonight?
Not tonight, but you do it quite often.
Then I don't do it.
Frankly,
then I didn't do it constantly.
You get triggered so easily. I mean, we could see the veins popping out of your head on the screen. You were the most easily triggered snowflake I've ever seen. You're like my grandpa that watches Fox News and believes whatever he sees.
Well, your grandfather must be a very handsome guy with a very large penis then, right? We might as well get to the penis talk now since you said I talk about it every time. Does he satisfy his wife?
No clue. Not any of my business. But I mean, for somebody that claims to be a shock jock, it's just laughable how you can dish it but not take it. Oh. I mean, you were the most easily triggered snowflake I have ever seen in my life.
Give me an example of that because I cut someone off yesterday. Who was it? That Sandy somebody, right? Is that who you're referring to?
Not just that. I mean, every situation in general. Richard Groper, or whatever his name is. All kinds of people. Like the second somebody doesn't disagree with you or criticizes you, you just can't handle it.
No, okay. So, by the way, his name is Dick Groinpain, by the way. It's not Richard Groper. Get the name convention correct. But actually, he was
Yeah, but if somebody said an insult about you like you do about him, you would cry and throw a fit and have to do a special show from your spare bedroom to you have like actually 3 people that watch your show, the 3 old ladies, and the other ones are basically just trolls that laugh at you.
Yeah, well, 13 people. Unlucky number 13 tonight. I don't do this show to win a large audience, and I don't do it to please you. I don't do it to please anyone. I don't do it to make friends. I do a show because I feel like doing it. If you feel like listening to me or you don't feel like listening to me, then you have every ability to not listen to me and shut me up and block me and all that.
You get triggered very easily, and you fear people like Richard Groper or whatever
No,
his
no,
name
no.
is.
I'll tell you what happened to Richard Groper. He actually came on chat and probably insulted about 5 people. And I put up with him for a long time when he was insulting these 5 people. And I just thought, and he came on and insulted me, and he called us he called this the boomer doomer disease or something like that, where he's very happy to get rid of baby boomers by having this disease affect people when at the early age of this disease it was affecting a lot of baby boomers. He was very proud of that, and at that point I thought, you know what, fuck him, I'm going to get rid of him. So I hit my limit with him. So that's why he's no longer able to connect with this show, because I frankly hit my limit with it. I got disgusted. I got fed up. I didn't feel like hearing his bullshit anymore. So I got rid of him. I admit I got rid of him. I'm proud I got rid of him. I am proud that I got rid of him. And you're not proud
in all
that
seriousness, if you're going to do the type of show you're going to do and you're going to insult others, you need to learn how to take some punches too.
Oh, because I hung up on the previous guy, right? Because he couldn't have 2 sentences
No,
without saying.
just in general, I mean, it's just laughable how easily triggered you are.
Well, I disagree with you.
And you
I
have
hit a
people
limit.
like Gary literally threatening to kill people in the chat, and that's okay. But Richard Goiper says something in the chat, and that's too bad.
Nope, I read the post that she put. She said, I think she said something like, "Why don't you just go off and die?" She didn't threaten him.
I believe she also called into your show the other night and said, "I want to kill the mother effers."
I don't recall that.
I can find the clip for you and send it to you if you'd like.
You could do that if you like to. That's fine with me. Research it. There you go. You got some homework. But
because Terry worships you and Richard doesn't, it's okay for Terry to do what she wants. She massages your fragile ego.
So I've got to go and I've got to look at every person that's made a post. I got to look at Rita Juicy Life. I got to look at Deep State Interman. I got to look at Angie from New Jersey. I got to look at every single post, every single one. And according to you, I've got to put up.
I don't want you to censor the chat at all, but I'm saying if you're holding Richard to it, and in the first place, you advocate for free speech, but then you want to censor people like Richard Goiper and others that don't agree with you.
Because
free speech only works when it agrees with you and your fragile ego, correct?
You know, at the year of 2020, I have hit my level of accepting bullshit. So you're right. You are exactly right. And when you hit your limit of bullshit, when you hit your limit of people saying that they don't even accept Donald Trump as their president, when they don't accept that, when they do have every capability of voting against them in the next election, and they don't want to accept him as the elected president of the United States, I get fed up. I get disgusted. At 2020, I'm fed up. I'm disgusted. So you're right. I'm blocking people because I've hit my limit. I've hit my threshold of tolerance, and it's blown out of the water. So I'm fucking disgusted. So I get rid of those people. You're right. You're right. I am censoring people because I've hit my level of tolerance. And you don't seem to like that.
No, I just find it funny that somebody that claims to be this big, tough shock jock, like, gets his feelings hurt, and you probably call your 87-year-old mom crying to her and tell her on the big bad Richard Goiper.
No, I don't mention her at all, or him at all. Why would I do that? Why would I mention Dick Groin Pain to my parents? Why would I do that?
Because you seem like the kind of guy that gets upset and cries to mommy.
Oh, you think so? Well, you're absolutely dead wrong. And I don't have to prove it to you because I don't feel like proving anything to you because you're irrelevant to me.
But in all honesty, you are, for somebody that wants to insult others and has such a great time doing whole shows, insulting various people and saying all kinds of insults, when somebody insults you, you blow up and get triggered, and it's just laughable what a snowflake you are.
Well, first of all, why do you consider myself to be a shock jock? I don't consider myself a shock jock. I consider myself to be someone who doesn't have a filter on what they say. Why do you consider that being a shock jock? Why? Why do you consider that? Why do you use that term? I don't consider myself that at all. I consider myself to be someone who talks often.
It's a term that you've used before to describe yourself, actually.
Yeah, sort of, a little bit. But then I thought, well, I kind of like Howard Stern. And by the way, Howard Stern, if you followed him, he's someone who reacts just like you're saying. He's someone that gives out criticism, gives out critique, insults people. And when people insult him, he does it as a gig and a gimmick where he gets on there. He'll do whole shows about it. He'll pretend he's upset. For him, it's more of a pretense than reality. And I think he's a hell of a radio personality. So I kind of like him. So when I call myself a shock jock, I do it because I happen to like him, and I did align myself with him a bit, but I kind of stopped doing that because I started thinking to myself, well, am I really a shock jock? Because I'm not intentionally trying to shock people. A shock jock intentionally goes on the air to shock people. I go on the air to be giving out my opinion, which is often politically incorrect, not to shock people, but just to speak my mind with an unfiltered ability to do so on this type of program.
And honestly, like I really do like you for the most part, but I am kind of dismayed with some of the turns that you've taken lately. I mean, I felt like I should speak up. I mean,
okay, so now,
I don't hate you.
Okay, all right, well, okay, so now let's bring tonight's topic to the forefront to discuss with you, since now you're logically talking to me. So I told you that I said that the percentage of the population that have died of COVID-19 is a very small percentage of the population. You probably agree with that, correct? You probably do agree with that.
As of this point, yes, but there's also, if you look at all-cause mortality, there's been a sharp, and compare it to previous years, there has been a sharp increase, so there's probably a lot of unaccounted for deaths as well.
Okay, but there's also a probability that the deaths that have been accomplished so far, the 80,000 people, we group them into categories and just assign them to COVID-19. In other words, we take the 80,000 people, see that number, even though I said it's a small percentage of the population. 80,000 people does not, the 80,000 people don't see, okay, well, this percentage of them or this total number of them had pre-existing conditions. These amount of people had immune deficiencies, and we if these people did not have a immune compromised situation or a pre-existing condition, it's very likely that they would have recovered. So we don't see that in the 80,000. We see an inaccuracy in that number.
There are many that's the case, but I will also say that Italy, there's a scientific paper published on the cases in Italy, and scientists came to the conclusion that despite the older age and the health conditions, the average death in Italy still had an estimated 10 years of life left.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, we can't... These people would not have died if not for COVID-19. I mean, they still would have had life left. But even if they're old, even if they have pre-existing condition, that's somebody's grandfather, mom, father. I mean, I would never want... I think it's great that at your age you still have both of your parents living, and at their age too. I mean, that's something to treasure. And I would never want something to happen to them or to some other family's 81 and 87-year-old.
But they okay. So for instance, okay, now if I'm going to put myself in my parents' position. Suppose I was my father, who's 87 years old, and his child, myself, who I still happen to be employed, fortunately and luckily. But say I lost my job because of COVID-19, and now I'm on unemployment. And suppose I was living paycheck by paycheck, and at this point, because I'm not working, because my percentage of the population that I represent the large majority versus my parents being the 0.025% of the U.S. population. Suppose I lost my job, I was late on my mortgage, I'm potentially going to go into foreclosure, although I think now they held off foreclosures based upon COVID-19, so I don't think it can get foreclosed upon now, but it's probably coming. Suppose I'm behind on my credit card payments. My life is now a shambles. I can't make my health insurance premium payments. Suppose my life is a complete disaster, suppose my child's life was in this position, and me at 87, I am protected because of that segment of the population overly protecting me. I would want my son to go back to work, and I would want to protect myself by the logic in my mind to realize, okay, I'm going to go to shop when senior citizen mornings are available to me at 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to wear a mask. I'm going to have my wife stay home. I'm going to go out shopping to take the risk on my behalf so that my wife is less risk to take it. I'm going to make sure I stay far away from people. I'm going to make sure I go when there's only senior citizens there anyway. I'm going to take all of these precautions, and in my mind, I'm going to say, I want my son to go back to work. I want him to be able to support his family, and I don't want him to be damaged, to be selfish and protect me. That's what my point of view is. That's what I'm talking about.
but we're not just protecting the old. I mean, even for a disease that spreads so rapidly and widely, the mortality rate from 18 to 44 is still extremely high for a disease with this amount of spread, and we have seen a lot of young people die, and that's awful.
Okay, 18 to 44 years old. That's what you just said, right? A lot of people aged 18 to 44 have died, correct?
Quite a few, yes.
Okay, but they are still part of that 0.025% of the total world population. So even if half of the people 18 to 44 years old died, that'd be half of 0.025%. That would be 0.0125% of them having died. That is even a smaller number. That is even smaller.
But to give you a bit of a math lesson, like you're not accounting for exponential growth that was going on at the beginning. The New York death rate was absolutely spiraling out of control because of exponential growth, and it would have continued to grow exponentially had we not taken measures. The reason the numbers have tapered off and been relatively low is because we did take measures to flatten the curve. Had we not, the number would be much, much higher right now, and that's simple mathematics.
And how do you know that? Because I've heard statistics that we are compromising the strength of our immune system by staying isolated away from the natural things that cross into our bodies, and that we are tuned to be able to protect ourselves by having a stronger immunity system. When you isolate us, I use that example of that movie. I think John Travolta was in it. Boy in a Bubble. And he's in the bubble because he has a zero immune system. So he's protecting himself by living in that bubble. As soon as that bubble burst, I think in that movie, he died. So we are taking our immune systems, taking them out of tune so that now we are more at risk. So how do you know? How do you know that if we did not do anything, that our immune systems wouldn't have been adapting to this and being strengthened? And how do you know that the statistics would be overwhelming? How do you know that? Do you have a DeLorean? Do you have a DeLorean?
First of all, I won't even anything from pandemic. I mean, that's already. I mean, that woman has been discredited. The two clinic owners in it have been discredited. I mean, if you do, I really urge you to do some research on that yourself as far as the validity of it. And as far as like the immune system goes, this is also a novel virus, so we don't have natural immunity. Our immune systems, until it encounters this virus, we don't have any sort of antibodies to fight it. So we're not really. I don't buy the immune system argument whatsoever.
Then how do you account for people that have overcome this and now they have an immune system built up to defend against this, because now they have survived this, they've recovered from it, so now their bodies are tuned up to defend against this. And I don't think
because everybody's immune system works differently, and some people create enough antibodies once they get it that they end up fighting it, and at this point we don't know if that's going to confer immunity even at all. We're hoping so, but there have been several studies that say we don't know if this is going to confer any long-term immunity.
Right.
Also, a lot of deaths have came because what this virus does is it creates what's called a cytokine storm, where your immune system can go into overdrive and overreact, and basically your immune system can destroy you from inside out.
Right. That I did hear. That is true. I heard that. But that is an immune system that has it's overreacting. It's overproducing. So that's still a damaged immune system. It's still a compromised immune system, correct?
No, not necessarily. I mean, that can be an immune system that's functioning great. It's almost doing its job too well, if you know what I mean.
I do. I know what you mean there. But if something's doing something too well, which is overreacting, that's still a compromised immune system, because it's supposed to react at this level. It's like driving down the road. If you're driving 55 miles an hour, which is the speed limit in the road, your gas pedal sticks, and now you're going 90 miles an hour, it's because your gas pedal is stuck in the floor. There's a damaged gas pedal. If your immune system is now in overdrive, your immune system is still compromised because it's in overdrive. It's not running normal. It's over.
Most likely, if your immune system's compromised, it's going to present as you don't create enough antibodies and T cells, and that's usually how a compromised immune system presents itself. That you wouldn't keep up, you wouldn't create enough antibodies or T cells to fight off the virus.
Right, but we are having people that are dying because their immune system is overreacting to this and producing too much. And I am saying that still that is a compromised immune system, because I gave you this situation with the automobile. So if you're driving down the road at 55 miles an hour and suddenly your car stalls and it's going now 15 miles an hour, it's a compromised gas. It's a compromised gas pedal. If it's going 90 miles an hour when you only press it down enough to go 55, it's still a compromised gas pedal. Even though now it's overperforming, it's performing the way it's not intended to at the pressure you're putting. So the pressure of your immune system, because it is in overdrive, is still a compromised immune system because it's not performing the way it's supposed to perform. So you're saying it's reacting better than it's supposed to, but it's still compromised because it's overreacting and killing the patient.
And I'm also very concerned about the amount of people that are surviving this, but also having what could be lifelong chronic conditions because of organs that have been attacked. I mean, we're seeing 20 and 30-year-olds that are surviving it, but I mean, they can't walk up a flight of stairs because they get so winded so easily from the scarring of the lungs. We're seeing fibrosis develop and everything else. I mean, there's a lot of... We don't know a lot about this disease yet. It's been around for, a few months. We're learning new things every day, but there is definitely a lot out there that is a cause for concern. And I get both sides of the issue. I really do. And I don't have the answers. I'll never claim to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I appreciate you calling and spending the time to talk with me instead of being like the previous caller. I just wanted to put a lot of fucking bullshit in there and douchebag and stuff. So I appreciate the fact that you talked to me in this manner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Okay, you too. Cheers. Okay, guys, I thought that was a great call. I thought it was an intelligent call. I thought he had some points to make, very different than the points I made, but he's entitled to making his points. And it's interesting because he said, I'm the type of person that cuts people off that have a different opinion. I cut people off when they get on chat. Like I said, Dick Groinpain, Richard Groiper, got on here, and I believe he insulted about 9 or 10 people. I think that's an exaggeration. I think he insulted about 6 people, and I just decided, I don't want him here to damage people that like to listen to the show, the few people who like to listen to the show. So I ended his ability to join the show. Then we had yesterday Sandy, somebody who decided to insult one person, and then that Sandy actually apologized to that one person. Then she got on today, and through my chat session via social media on Facebook, she decided to insult me. And I decided, instead of having her have to apologize to me, I'd make it easier for her, so I cut her off and I removed her from the group page. I didn't block her, but I removed her. I didn't block her from Facebook to connect to me, but I did remove her from the group page. And the reason for that is because she insulted one of the people who listens to the show, and then she insulted me. And I thought, rather than have her apologize twice, that other person, and to me, you know what? She doesn't need to. I'll make her life easier. She doesn't have to apologize to me. I'll just get rid of her. And then we had the other guy who, remember the sci-fi guy who was talking about alien abductions? I forget his name. He decided to come on and insult about 7 people. And everyone said, Dave, he's insulting me. And I decided to block him now. This caller that just called right now said that Terry decided to go on a threatening thing and say that she wanted to kill someone or something like that. I kind of looked at the chat as best as I could. It's hard to do that when I do a live show. I saw that she said, I think she said it, by the way, she said she wasn't actually the person that said it. And I have seen people camouflage themselves pretending to be other people. And I believe you can do it rather easily. So you can come on and be a fake Richard Groiper. You can be a fake Being There. You can be a fake Chris Peterman. You can do that and fake that you're really not that real person. You're somebody else. So I believe Terry said that she was not that person saying that stuff. And she might have been. For all I know, it really was her. I have no idea. But when I read the chat, it looked like she said, why don't you just go and die? I don't think she threatened the person and said, I'm going to come and kill you. I think she said, why don't you just go and die? And because it wasn't a direct threat, I let it go. But now I'm supposed to look and micromanage every single chat post and make sure that they're not. What I should go in, I should say Jeff Banks came in as out of 1 in 10. His insult level today happened to be an 8. But that's with intolerance. I'll tolerate an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 of tolerance. And then I'll look up, I see Rita Juice Life. She was rude on a scale of 1 to 10. She was a 4. So I'm going to let her go because she's very well. She's okay. So what I have to do, I have to take every one of them and I have to do like a Olympic ratings thing of here's a 9.3. So 9.3 means I've got to block this person because I'm going to be monitored to make sure I block the right people and I don't have people yelling at me because I'm blocking the wrong person, or I should have blocked this person. So I got to micromanage this whole thing instead of just doing it because I just feel like talking on the air. What am I supposed to do here? So I think that's all I got tonight. The phone rang twice and there were 2 quick hang-ups. Not sure why that was. From a 617 area code. I'm not sure even what state that's in. But if you'd like to call again, you'll be the last caller on the show. Or if you don't want to call in, then you don't have to. Let's see if I can read some of the comments. Let's see who this is. This is Dave Darin, the Dave Darin Show. Who is calling in, please?
Hi, this is Dave Kipdry from Boston. I'm calling out. I'm just curious. So, do you think society should? Do you think? Again, answer me honestly here. Do you think the United States should just get back to work? Do you think everything should go back the way it was?
I think that there is a criteria out there that's been laid out by the federal government on steps that need to be performed before a state can open up, or even a specific county within a state. So I would agree that certain parts of the country that are still suffering dramatically need to probably accomplish those steps before they fully open up. We in Arizona here, our statistics now, to be honest with you, our state is the very last in giving out testing. Arizona is horrible at testing, but still we have a population of 5 million people, and I forget what the statistic is of deaths in Arizona, but we're doing quite well surviving the coronavirus. Now, if our level is flattened out and our curve is on the downswing, and as long as we can do things in a mature capability so that we can make sure that we're doing things so that we don't progress this to a level of accelerating to a maximum degree, if we've got a handle on it, I think that our state could open. Some other states can open. Now, Las Vegas pulling up every...
Because they're a little more spaced out in Arizona. There's a lot more space there. It's
that
not
is
like
true.
You're in New York City.
Yeah, now, I don't pretend to
I
say...
don't know. I personally, I've seen the numbers have gone up, though. They say in the states like Georgia, and a lot of the other states that opened up now in the last 2 weeks are... they say that the numbers of COVID infections are actually doubling.
Uh-huh. Well, what I'm saying...
It confuses me, Dave, because the thing is if you look at New Zealand, for example, New Zealand hasn't had any cases now because they literally, the moment that they found out about this, they put the...
I didn't hang up on him. He evidently hung up on me. I don't know why or how it happened, but he's a goner. I didn't hang up on him. And by the way, Japan survived this very well, because if you happen to ever live in Japan, which I did, when they go out in the street, if they have a cold, they put on a mask. So their natural way of living is to be more sterile. And as a result of that, they survive this rather well. Our situation is that we really are not to that level of being sterile in the United States. We go out, we shake people's hands. In Japan, they bow. They don't shake each other's hands. In fact, when you're in a business meeting and you give a card, which is called the meishi, you hold it in your two hands like this, and you present it, and you bow when you're presenting it to the person you're presenting your business card to. You're not shaking hands at all. You are bowing in recognition of that person. So it is less of a touchy-feely situation there. And when you go out, if you have a cold, the natural thing that you do is you wear a mask so you don't pass it on. So that's why they've done better at this. Now you're saying that why Dave doesn't want to wear a mask. I'm saying that our mature population knows how to take care of themselves. And we're kind of disrespecting them by telling them, no, guys, you guys in the percentage of population that are at risk, compromised immune systems, pre-existing condition, you guys have no ability to take care of yourselves. Therefore, we're going to have your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren impacted to the degree that they're going to potentially lose their homes, lose their business, lose their employers, lose their employment, lose their life savings, lose all of this to protect the people that are perfectly capable of taking care of themselves. That's what I said. I'm sticking to it, and I'm saying that the percentage of the population that has died has been 0.025%, much smaller than 1%, much smaller than 10%. 0.025 of the United States population of 320 million people have died of COVID-19, and we're not even making those statistics of the 80,000 specifically clear. Dave Darin on the Dave Darin Show. You're the last caller tonight. Who's calling in? Hello. Are you there? I think this is the same caller that got disconnected from me a second ago. So now I don't hear anything in the background, so I'm going to have to hang up and say I can't hear you if you're talking at all. I don't hear you. That's all I got for tonight, guys, and I'm sticking with it. Cheers. You find the show closer. What did I do with it? I want to show you something that was kind of funny. If you guys recall, last week I had my Jeep, which had a little cracked windshield. I had someone come to restore it, and it actually shattered on them. Now, fortunately, they weren't hurt, but I put it to music. I'll play this, and I'll play the closing song, but check this out. I made it kind of comical. We'll play this on the Dave Darin Show, and then I'm going to go away. See you guys.
Sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Okay, I was going to hang up and then it looked like Rita wanted to call in. So Rita, if you want to call in, you can do so now. Rita just said, Dave, I'll call. I guess she wanted to say call next time. Okay, she wants to get to know me better. By the way, don't get to know me better because you'll like me worse, all right? People that get to know me better, eventually, some people actually like me in the beginning, and as they get to know me, they like me less and less and less. So if you want to call and you want to have the best situation between yourself and me, it's best to call now or soon. Don't wait for 2 months because in 2 months you'll end up hating me. All right, so if you want to call, I'll stay on here for one more minute. And then I'm going to start disrobing here, taking off my rings and stuff like this. If you want to call, or if anyone wants to call, I'll take one more call since I decided to hang up, but I'll hang in here. If anyone wants to call right now, you can do so. If not, I'll hang up. And someone was comical and said, what is the percent of the population that has broken their Jeep windshields? By the way, I didn't break it. Actually, I had someone come to actually fix. I had a professional from my insurance company. If you have, by the way, if you have glass breakage on your automobile, I didn't even know this. I thought it was just windshield protection. If you have glass breakage on your windshield, we live in Arizona, which is the state with the most highest windshield cracks. Because I guess we have a lot of debris on the road, a lot of sand and stones that kick up on windshields, and we're the glass breakage capital of the country. So a lot of us have glass protection on our cars. Not only protects the windshield, it protects every single window on your vehicle. I had no idea. I called up my insurance company thinking they would say, no, unfortunately it's only the windshield that's protected. If you have glass breakage on your car and you've never called before, if you had like a side window break or a crack in your side window or a pebble that kicked up somehow and hit your side window and you want to get it fixed, you know what? Glass breakage insurance covers every window in your vehicle. I had no idea. Now, I don't know if it protects your side view mirror. I'm not sure about that, but I'm not sure. But use it if you've got it. Okay, I guess no one is calling, and I guess Rita's going to call some other time after she gets to know me. So I already stopped the show by playing the closing theme song. Do I have another one? Let me find another one. I'll do my UFO one if I can find it quickly. My UFO opener, I will do my UFO opener as a closer, since I don't feel like playing the closer a second time. You'll get bored with that, right? See if I can find it. I think I did find it. Here we go. Let's play this.
Do you know the Dave Darin Show? He used to be on terrestrial radio, but he got fired.
Here comes the boss fella now.
Dave Darin.